right, so this is a video I'm really excited to share. This is a feature match from the last monthly at the Armoury in Fairhaven. They do these monthly tournaments that have pretty good turnouts. This was the biggest turnout they did because this was a really good prize. This was an Ultimate Dark Arm Dragon. So we're in a top 8 match. It's me against Igor. I'm on Blackwings. Igor's on Vayu Turbo. This is the same list, the same main deck that I played in Denver. The side deck, I'm testing some new stuff that I haven't really tried. I actually was testing a lot of stuff specifically to see what I could do to improve the Vayu matchup, because that's really the only matchup I've seen myself losing lately. Obviously, like you'll see, or if you've seen my profile, the main deck is very catered towards the mirror, so I do very well in the mirror. But yeah, Vayu Turbo's been giving me some issues, so there were some cards that I was trying to test out. I think that some of them are going to come up in this match post board. But yeah, so this is a video that was actually captured on the feature match by Branden. He has a channel that I'm going to link in the description. But yeah, he was nice enough to edit this video, share it with me, and allow me to put my commentary over it. And I'm really excited just because I thought it was a really good match, and I was really excited this was caught on the feature match. So let's just jump into it. So I believe I actually win the dice roll, which is crazy. Love it. Yeah, I think I open, it's like Bottomless, Brain Con, Icarus, Bora, Shura, Kalut. So pretty good hand. And I'm going to set one. I'm guessing I'm going to set the Bottomless. And looks like we saw the Raikou in his hand. That looked like, I couldn't tell. I think it looked like a D prison. But yeah, he just goes for the T set. I think that I know he's playing Vayu, but I'm not 100% sure. Just because I don't really walk around and scout. I'm not really like that in tournaments. Okay, but yeah, I draw into the Whirlwind. And I just say, fuck it, let's slam the Shura. So I guess I could have summoned the Bora if I thought that this was going to get Bottomless. But, you know, he's seen the fewest number of cards that he's going to see for the game. He's only seen the first 6 cards. So the only thing that punishes this really is a Bottomless, because Torrential, he's going 2 for 1. It kind of, you know, leaves my Whirlwinds hanging out there, so the Whirlwind's, you know, at risk. But yeah, if he Bottomlesses, it hurts. But any other card, really, I mean, I'm getting my plus off the Whirlwind, and I'm happy going into this. I am expecting this to be a Raikou. I think that's a safe assumption in general in Edison format, that the set is, you should just assume that it's a Raikou on a turn 1 set, a Raikou or Hamster, generally a Raikou. But yeah, I'm gonna search the Blizzard so that I have follow-up when this thing dies. So now, if it is, I'm fine attacking into this, because if it is a Raikou, he either has to pop the Whirlwind, which he's obviously not going to do, because then my Shura effect will resolve, or he has to pop the Shura, in which case I keep the Whirlwind, so again, I'm not going neg, and it also makes my Blizzard live for the follow-up. But because the summon walked, it's probably going to be a Battle Trap, and I was expecting this, and I do get D-Prison, which I'm not surprised about at all. Now my only back row is, I believe, the Bottomless from turn 1. I'm still kind of expecting this to be a Raikou, even though he D-prisoned me, just because, again, I think it makes sense to D-prison, especially when he saw me search the Blizzard. So now he's going to flip the Raikou. He's going to hit the initial set. It's a Bottomless. I should be revealing it. I don't know why I don't let him reveal it. Oh, and also the nice thing about playing against Vayu Turbo, I get some information here. I see that he mills the Vayu, which is nice for him, but he mills the Judgment and Gores, which is nice for me now, because I don't have to play around his only counter trap and also his Gores hand trap, which is good for me to know. But yeah, he flips, and then he also gets the sack off for the Caius, which is really good. He clears the Whirlwind, so yeah, he's eating good right there. But I'm not behind or anything. I think we're probably even on cards. I should have probably 6 or drawn to 6, and I think he has 5 or so. So I think we're pretty even on cards. Looks like I drew into another trap card. Yeah, it looks like I drew into a trap stun. So now I'm going to set 2 more. I believe I have the Icarus down, and I think I just put down the trap stun. So now I set a monster. And I set a back row. He should probably be reading that as a Blackwing plus an Icarus, because what does this deck really set, and why would I set? So the reason why I didn't just summon into this, I should probably back up and stop and say that. So I could have just normal summoned, because I believe I have a Bora. So I could have just, and I have a Kalut in my hand. I could have just normal summoned and attacked into this Caius, but a couple things about that. The Caius was basically free since he sacked a Ryko, which replaced itself. So me having to commit my Bora and a card in my hand into the Caius is not great. I'm willing to do it, obviously, but the more important thing is, I don't want to summon into this potential bottomless, because if I get bottomless here, it banishes both of my big birds, so it turns off my blizzard, and it would like kind of wreck me. So I set this Bora down because I want it to be chainable. I want my Icarus to be chainable and guarantee that the Bora goes to the graveyard. I could have summoned the Bora into the bottomless, but and in a chained Icarus, but then it's not a plus with the Icarus. It's just 2 for 2, and I have no initiative. He just gets to go into an empty board on his turn. So this allows me to play defensively on this turn and make my Icarus chainable and burn his turn basically. I believe he plays this slow and yeah, just pokes in, and I'm just gonna Icarus his 2 cards. And it was a bottomless, so I would have gotten punished by that normal summon into the Caius, into the back row. So he just sets again. So now he has 2 cards in hand, 2 on field. I believe I'm even with him. Maybe I have 4 in hand, 1 on field. And I believe the card on field is Trap Stun. Checking his grave. Looks like he's got 3 or 4 darks. I think it's 3 darks, which you don't like to see. I believe my hand at this point is Blizzard, Bora, Brain Con, maybe one more, and then I just slam the Bora. So here I'm kind of expecting this to be a Ryko or a hamster. I don't want to slam into a hamster with my Bora, and I don't want to go into a Goyo because that really does nothing for me. This at least 1, it keeps the Kalut in my hand kind of alive, and 2, it puts some pressure. It makes a value later in the game stronger with that Bora. And again, what are you expecting the Vayu deck to set? It's going to be Rykos and hamsters, so I'd rather just push into those, trade as favorably as I can. This is putting some pressure on him now. So now he's faced with a decision to pop my Armed Wing, my back row, or my Bora. So if he pops my Armed Wing, he's taking another 1700 damage from this Bora. If he pops my Bora, he's letting me keep my Armed Wing, and if he pops my back row, my Trap Stun really did its job because it's really there to protect my monsters. So I'm okay with this trade, expecting a Ryko into whatever he wants to pop. So he's giving it some thought. I think he is gonna pop the Bora, and I think he doesn't really want to do that, and then he mills really shitty, which is awesome. Actually, that charge is probably almost dead. Because I think he's had 2 Rykos. But yeah, him popping my my Bora means he's got to have a way to deal with this Armed Wing, or else this would be very strange. So I'm kind of expecting him to like follow up with like a Sirocco or another set Ryko or something, or like I don't know, drop a Dad or something crazy. But yeah, he sets. So him setting right after he popped the Bora makes me think that this is a Ryko, because it's kind of weird to leave me with the Armed Wing if he doesn't have a way of dealing with it. So I just slam right in, and yeah, he's gonna take another 2,700 damage. So this Armed Wing actually got in there. It got in there for 54, which is pretty sick to see from an Armed Wing, because usually, this is just a basic 6. So he mills his Gale, and he mills a Deck Dev as well as a Vayu. So I think all of his Vayus are gone, and we saw a Deck Dev go away from the main, which it's extremely standard at this point. So I allure main phase 2. So I could have allured before attacking there, but I think that the only monster in my hand was the Kalut. So like technically, if I drew like double Kalut before attacking, I could have banished 1 Kalut, attacked into his predicted Ryko, and then double Kaluted for game. Obviously, that's never going to happen, but technically I could have. But I'd rather just see what he does on the battle phase before I decide if I want to allure or what. So I believe at this point my back row is like Trap Stun, MST, something like that, and my hand is Brain Control, Whirlwind. He's on equal resources with me. And it looks like he just passes. Looks like I drew into a trap card. He's checking my grave. I don't have anything crazy in there. I just set another back row and pass. I think I see... Is that a judgment right there? Couldn't tell what that was. Looks like I drew into another back row. I'm just going to set another card and pass. So I probably do have a judgment back there, but also I don't necessarily have one because I'm not expecting that he has some kind of pro set heavy down there because he's playing against Blackwings. So like, you know, it's not like a deck that only has one MST. I have 3 Icarus that could be hitting back row, so I don't expect him to be setting bluffs. And anyways, it's not like he can go plus if he does see the heavy. Like the way I look at it, it's like, what is his position after the heavy storm? And we're going to be even on cards after the heavy storm, and I'm going to be at pretty high life, and I don't expect he's going to put me in some terrible position. So I'm comfortable setting these cards. I might have a Solemn Judgment, but I also might not. I'm not sure. This was last month. But yeah, he finally finds the Greffer, sends Gale Sirocco, so Plague Sirocco, so he finally finds the Sirocco to make this Vayu live, and he's going to banish for the Vayu, for the Armed Wing. This is the critical turn of this duel, actually of this match, really. So he attacks in for his Greffer. Okay, it looks like I found a D prison, so I don't even know if I have judgment down. So here he changed the deck dev to the D prison on the Armed Wing, and I'm gonna think here for a really long time because I have a trap stun and I'm thinking about playing it. I don't know if he can tell. Maybe he thinks that I have judgment or something, but I am thinking about flipping my trap stun. Maybe I don't have a judgment because I probably would have flipped one of those because I have an MST down as well. But I am thinking really hard about flipping this trap stun because you never want to give your opponent full information. Then that also turns off all of my draws. The reason I decided not to flip this trap stun is because I have brain control in my hand. And I have trap stun and I have MST. So I am like 1 card away from just pushing for game. And this deck dev isn't going to hit anything right now. Technically, it would hit like, you know, a good chunk of the monsters that I could draw into, but I also have a good chunk of big birds that I could draw into and just win on the spot. Also, I really want to hold this trap stun to make sure I don't die to something like a return getting flipped over. So I end up showing on my hand it's Whirlwind Brain Control. I draw, and it's a Sirocco. So I'm just like, let's go. So I start thinking, like, how can I just guarantee to win right here? And the way that you do that is, like I said, I have trap stun and MST. So we saw that Judgment got milled on one of the Raikos. So I'm just going to space. I'm sorry, not Judgment, trap stun. So I'm just going to space one of his back rows. Then no matter what it is, there's nothing that can be to stop me from killing him, because the only thing that could stop this is if he had, for example, like Torrential plus Bottomless, but and then, you know, one of those would resolve and I wouldn't get my search on the Whirlwind. But because he only had one back row, I know that my trap stun is gonna allow this search to go through, and now I could just pump the whatever, Sirocco or Gale, whichever one I choose, and then I can brain control to clear. And I was just making sure that he doesn't have a Greffer in there. Or not a Greffer, what is it called? Gardna in there. Okay, so yeah, now we're siding. It looks like I was bringing in, was that 5 cards? Looks like 5. It sounds about right. Yeah, it looks like I'm bringing in 5 cards. I think the cards that I have in the side deck for this matchup were Kaiku, Mind Control. I was testing out Nobleman for this tournament. I've never played that in this deck, but I was testing it to see how I like it. Yeah, so it's like Mind Control, Nobleman, Kaiku, and then I also believe I sided in a second Trap Stun, and a Transmigration Prophecy. That's another card that I was just testing. So I like the Trap Stun, but I've actually really been thinking I'm going to give another go to the 7 tools. I like that better than Dust Tornado just because Vayu, you don't want to be blind spacing them because they have chainable cards. You want to be negating them, and also trap stun's a little awkward in Blackwings just because if you it's just weird because like you don't want to turn off like if you have like your trap on chainlink 1 and they chain something chainlink 2, you don't want to turn off your chainlink 1 trap. So 7 tools is pretty cool, especially in the mirror because there's again cards that have cost like Icarus attack, which are just it's awesome, you know, and then people can't respond to it. So it looks like I opened brain control again. So I have no I had no monsters this game. I alerted away my only monster was the Bora, and then I set 5. Again, I'm expecting that this is a Raikou, but I think I've decided like I can't just never commit to the board and let him OTK me. So I have to just let him take a random shot. I think most of my back row is not super helpful right now, so I was okay with losing them. He mills another Vayu and he mills a Torrential, and it looks like he hit a D prison. So now he has +1, plus another, so he's +2, +1 for going first, and +1 with his Raikou if he can get any use out of the body. Summons an Armageddonite. This sucks because he's putting pressure with his floaters, which is never good. He's making me like he's basically demanding that I answer these cards that are, you know, 0 commitment for him. I believe he does not send a Sirocco, which is super weird. Yeah, he sends a second Vayu. I found this so strange because he can just, you know, do his Vayu thing, send his other piece for the Armed Wing. And he doesn't here. And I remember thinking that it was very weird. So I remember when he did this, I was like, okay, he must have a Sirocco in his hand or another way to dump because, like, what the fuck? That's like your whole thing is you're supposed to be sending both. But I think he didn't want to summon it into 4 back row, but then he doesn't set anything down. It's like you don't want to summon into 4 back row because you want to get like a deck dev down that's chainable or something, but you didn't even put anything down with it. So it's like I just remember thinking it was so weird that he sent a second Vayu and he didn't make any kind of play this turn. But it looks like he just wants to play it slow, which I get. Like I like taking the game slow as well and not being like super aggressive, like kind of feeling out like what my opponent's up to. But yeah, I'm in a bad spot here. I don't have any monsters, and he's able to put this like pseudo pressure down because this is going to be another 16 if he keeps the Raikou in attack, or, you know, 14 if he doesn't. So like now he's done 3,000 damage without me even doing anything this game. So that sucks. And then it's another 14 next turn. So yeah, it's not looking good. Okay, looks like I do have a monster in my hand. I think I didn't want to commit it because I don't have a way of protecting it. Because I was worried. Yeah, it's Sirocco. I was worried that he was going to just bring his Sirocco down because I was so like sussed out by him not sending a Sirocco. So it does look like he has a grip full of monsters. I can't really tell. But he has a lot of monsters in his graveyard too, so he shouldn't have seen just monsters, you know? That looks like it's a Chaos Orc. Yeah, that sucks. So he brings his Chaos Orc down, immediately calls priority, which is what everyone does, which is why I like cards like Dark Illusion that can just fucking maul that right on the spot. I hit my Icarus, so at least I get to keep my Sirocco in the grave in case I find a Vayu. And then, yeah, that puts him on 3 dark, so I'm like, you know, shitting my pants a little bit because it feels like they always have it. Looks like that's a Greffer in his hand. Slams the Greffer. I'm sure he shouts priority right here as well, which is what they always do. Okay, yeah, so I'm thinking about making a really strange play. I don't know if I've ever done this in Edison format because it's so bad. I think I'm about to bottomless this Greffer, which sucks because it's like, yeah, I didn't really do anything there, but I don't have any way to clear it. So this tells me that I don't have any battle traps back there. And yeah, he pitches the Sirocco, sends the Gardena, and now I'm going to use this card, which I have not used before, and I'm going to send back his 2 Vayus, which sucks because you don't want to let him keep his Necro Gardena, but I would rather put like the bad draws in his deck being the Vayus rather than the good draws like his Sirocco. So I couldn't send his like Sirocco. I mean, I guess I could have sent Sirocco Gardena back, but it just keeps better cards in his deck. Where I'd rather see him draw the Vayu. But yeah, this was a card I was testing Transmigration. I think it's good, but hard to evaluate it because I mean I didn't see any monsters this game so far. Just I've only seen the Sirocco. Okay, so he mills the Dark Arm, which is great, and the Dust Tornado, which is not really much information for us since we expect people to side Dust Tornadoes in. So, but yeah, again, he gets to put this like pseudo pressure, this like floater pressure, where he's milling and sending cards to grave and still pushing 1900 damage and threatening me, and it's not even like at risk of getting Shura'd because he has the Gardena in there as well. So I end phase and I pop his back row. I think at this point he has cards banished, so I was worried about a return or a burial there. So I didn't want that to be chainable. And here I make a play that I really don't agree with. So there's basically no card that I should be setting in this situation. Like there's no card I could possibly have. Even if I sided in a Raikou, which I don't side Raikou with Mind Control. I think that's a little bit optimistic to think that you're going to resolve a Mind Control on a hamster and get your Raikou. Like Raikou's fine spot removal, but like I'm pretty stingy with my side deck spots, so I don't side Raikou. But I don't agree with my play here just setting a monster because there's basically no monster that I'd want to set. I can't let him keep milling with this card trooper because it's going to get him value. So I really, and maybe I was thinking, if I summon my Vayu, I'm gonna, he ended up milling shitty, but if maybe I'm thinking like if I summon my Vayu, it's gonna get Necro Gardener, and then I'm gonna get like killed on the clapback or something. But like that would be awesome if he Necro Gardenered my Vayu. You know what I mean? That burns his Necro Gardener. But yeah, I don't agree with my decision to let this card trooper sit because now I'm gonna have to deal with this in some way. So it was a Vayu. He kills my Vayu, so now I have a live Vayu in the graveyard. And then he sets a monster. Again, we always assume that that's a Raikou. So I can't remember if I drew into the Sirocco right here, but I think maybe I was hoping to get this card trooper off the field without destroying it and letting him draw, and maybe that's why I didn't attack into it, but I still don't agree with the play. And then we activate its effects so that I can see if I can turn a Blizzard on if I drew one, but we mill some more trap cards. I don't know where the monsters are right now in my deck because we've only seen like 2 and we're like 20 cards in or something. But we attack for the Sirocco, and then he pops a back row. He hits a Judgment. Some people side that card out. Yeah, I guess I could see an argument since I'm bringing in trap stuns, but like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, pretty good card. I don't know, but yeah. So he pops a back row. I know he has a live Armoury in the grave, so I can't just. He'll kill me if I just don't do anything. So I'm thinking, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm probably cooked, but I have to put my Armoury down because he could literally just kill me with like a brain or something. But he ends up. I was pretty surprised. I guess I shouldn't be because Cyber Dragon's not a weird side for Blackwings. He went first this game, but maybe he doesn't care and he decides it going first anyways. But yeah, he ends up Black Rosing me, and my trap stun doesn't look too good right there. And he has a Vayu in the grave, so I scoop him up. He's got game right there. But yeah, I definitely would not have expected a Black Rose play there. But yeah, Vayu can play like everything. So like they can make slow, set plays, and they can make all these like very aggressive plays, and yeah, it's just a crazy deck. I don't know why I'm pile shuffling here. This is strange to see. I thought I stopped doing all that, but okay, we get to go first. Game 3, and we are fighting, for our lives here. After 6 rounds of my whole Sunday, I definitely don't want to lose here. So I believe this game I open fucking awesome. Pretty sure I open Shura Whirlwind, so I don't know what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I just slam it. Oh, it's not Shura, it's Bora Whirlwind still. We love that. Yeah, so I end up searching the Kalut, which is pretty standard. I do search Kalut pretty often. I mean, I also search Blizzard a lot just because it's like guaranteed strong follow-up. It's not like I'm like worried about like Brain Caius or anything, and even that would still put my 4 in grave. But No, this is great follow up. And I don't set any other back row because we haven't given him any turns to check for heavy. So if he's gonna heavy, I'd rather him heavy at -1 on the whirlwind that already searched. But he ends up setting 2 and a monster into this Bora. So I'm pretty sure I have Dark Armed in my hand, which is awesome. So, and this is a common follow up. So oftentimes I will search the Kalut, which basically guarantees that my Bora is going to live. And then it's not uncommon for me, if I don't have another Blackwing monster in my hand, to go and summon the Kalut the following turn if I don't feel I need to keep the Kalut in my hand for the to keep, as a hand trap, because then it can go and search the Blizzard for me, and it also sticks another body on the board, and it gets, continues to get more advantage out of the Black Whirlwind, because you don't know how long your Whirlwind is going to stay up, so you really want to get as many searches as possible. I know I'm not saying anything like profound. It's like not a super, it's not like a super hard card to use or whatever. I mean, it is probably a little bit harder than people give it credit for, because your hands in Blackwings aren't always going to be like Shero Whirlwind, where you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna search for my Blizzard, like this is easy. Yeah, I am trying to get some advantage out of this Whirlwind. The other thing is, this plays through Bottomless. He would have to Torrential here, which he could, but it's a limited card. So yeah, this plays through Bottomless, and it lets me test the back row. And also, like I said, I have a Dark Armed in my hand, so this, if he did Torrential me here, for example, I know that the following turn I would have a Dark Arm play where I could go Blizzard Special the Bora and get a Brio, which guarantees that I'm only going to have 3 Darks in the grave, since Brio's a water monster, and then he can respond to the summon or not, and then I can drop my Dark Arm. So this is setting me up really nicely for the later game. But yeah, I'm thinking here because, like I said, I have that Dark Arm in my hand, so I actually am about to, and I also have a Heavy Storm in my hand. So I'm thinking, how can I Dark Armed this Raikou and, just like put myself way ahead right now. So I'm pretty sure my hand is like Heavy Storm, Deep Prison, Icarus, Kaiku, Dark Arm, something crazy like that. So what I decide I want to do is I want to special summon the Gale, or search the Gale, special summon the Gale, and then Heavy Storm, Synchro, and just go crazy on him. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm like, yeah, I want to just like push like right now while I have the chance before he sees more cards. So yeah, I'm going to search the Gale. The Blizzard is obviously amazing follow-up, but Gale allows me to make a play with Dark Arm right now. But he has Dust Shoot, so that all goes away. But this is still a great hand. But yeah, I think that I was going to heavy my own Blizzard and make a Synchro into a or maybe I was going, there are a couple things I could do, but maybe I was going to do something like special the Gale, Synchro into Brio, and then not use effect for priority, which would allow him to bottomless me, and then he could then I wouldn't have my Dark Arm live. But if he doesn't bottomless, or if he Torrentials, then my Dark Arm is live, and if he doesn't bottomless me, I think I was gonna do something like pitch like Kaiku, bounce my like Whirlwind, Heavy Storm him, and then special Dark Arm, do something like that. I remember I was like going through in my head like, what am I about to do, and I was about to make some kind of really aggressive play. But he hits the Dark Arm, obviously, because he's about to get mauled by it. So instead, what I do is I decide, I don't really want to attack into like a potential like D-Prison or Mirror Force or anything, or Raikou or anything like that. So I'm just going to set my Icarus and then just shotgun it on his turn and not let him have a chance to flip his monster. That could play into like a Dust Tornado, for example, but I know that it's not a Dust Tornado since he did not dust my Whirlwind. He would not allow me to get a search there. So it was actually a Vayu, which is a pretty ballsy set from him, but it's backed up by a Mirror Force, so that's not surprising. When your summon goes through, oftentimes it's a decent assumption to think that it's a Battle Trap there, especially when we know all the cards in the Vayu deck. So he's going to set 2 more. He knows my cards, but I'm obviously at the advantage because I have Heavy Storm, I have Kaiku. See, I don't want to summon the Kaiku into this, but I mean, it would have been really good, but he knows about it. I was thinking that I have the Heavy Storm in my hand. Oh, and I think I drew into Trap Stun, so I was like, I really want to make a play like that next turn. When I drew the Trap Stun, I was like, let me just wait one more turn to make this play. So he's really low resource. He has 3 cards. We see the Cyber Dragon again. I think my back row is Deep Prison Trap Stun, so I don't have anything for him. The Deep Prison came down after I summoned the Kalut to protect my monster. He stacks for Plague, and now he's going to Black Rose me. So this probably looks like a great play from him because it looks like, 2 cards, really 3, because it was a Cyber Dragon, a card for his Plague, and then this set card. So really 3 cards for my 4, let's say. But, I mean, look at the position. I have Kaiku Heavy Storm in my hand. And I've already gotten all of these pluses off of this Whirlwind, so I'm really not in a bad position at all. Yeah, he hits my Trap Stun and my Deep Prison, but he has 1 card. He's draw locked, and I know what I have. I'm pretty sure I have Kaiku to clear his graveyard and Heavy Storm to clear this back row. And he knows about the Heavy Storm too, because he saw it on the Dust Chute, and it's a return. And I just Kaiku and empty his grave. I take the light out of his grave so that he can't top deck a Chaos Orc, and then I take his Vayu. He knows what he's drawn into right there. And then here, I draw into Kalut. So it looks like I had a Sirocco from last turn, and I think I drew into a Kalut right here. I drew into one of the Kalut or the Sirocco, I can't remember, but I start doing some math in my head, and I start trying to figure out if I can kill him. And I have exact game, actually, because I successfully attacked with my Kaiku last turn, so I know that there's no Necrogarden in the grave, because that would be the first thing you banish off a Kaiku. And then also I can sack the Kaiku to normal summon the Sirocco, special summon the Gale, pump, and then in the damage step, pitch Kaiku. That's 2,000 plus 13 plus 14. It's 47 exact. So I'm just doing some math in my head just to make sure I don't fuck this up, because you never really want to sack a Kaiku, but I have guaranteed game here. So I'm just gonna make sure it's the right play and then just do it. I'm not slow rolling him. I'm just trying to make sure I don't screw something up somehow. Yep, there you go. Nice job. Yeah, I'm checking one more time to see if the garden is there. Yep, no, extends the handshake, and that's game. But yeah, it was a really fun match. I thought it was a good match. It was also a win over Vayu, which is always exciting because that deck is just crazy. It's been taking a lot of the top spot representation, and this guy was cool. I thought he was a good player, Igor. This is the first time I'd played against him. I think he traveled a little bit to the tournament, but yeah. Anyways, next Sunday is the next one of these monthlies at the Armoury in Fairhaven. It's going to be for an Ulti Lightning Vortex, Ulti first. So I'm going to be there, probably rocking Blackwings again. And yeah, you guys should come through if you're in the area. It's always a really good time. The turnout's really good, and there's a lot of good players. It's usually 30, 40 players, which is always good to, get testing against other good players in a pretty good sized tournament with good prizing. So yeah, let me know if you guys saw anything that you thought was questionable on my part. I'm not saying I played everything perfectly, but I think this set I played my cards fine. Game 2, obviously we didn't see any monsters, so there's not a whole lot you can do. Part of that is deck building on my part, because post side I think I was only on 19 monsters or something, but yeah, I just think it's a variance thing. You expect to see some monsters by that point in the game that I had lost. I think I'd only seen 3, and I had to allure one of them. But yeah, let me know what you guys think.